In practical life we are compelled to follow what is most probable, in speculative thought we are compelled to follow truth. Emotion, which is suffering, ceases to be suffering as soon as we form a clear and precise picture of it. In so far as the mind sees things in their eternal aspect, it participates in eternity. Be not astonished at new ideas, for it is well known to you that a thing does not therefore cease to be true because it is not accepted by many. Fame has also this great drawback, that if we pursue it, we must direct our lives so as to please the fancy of men. Peace is not the absence of war, it is a virtue, a state of mind, a disposition of benevolence, confidence, justice. The more clearly you understand yourself and your emotions, the more you become a lover of what is. Be not astonished at new ideas, for it is well known to you that a thing does not therefore cease to be true because it is not accepted by many. The highest activity a human being can attain is learning for understanding, because to understand is to be free. Sin cannot be conceived in a natural state, but only in a civil state, where it is decreed by common consent what is good or bad. So long as a man imagines that he cannot do this or that, so long as he is determined not to do it, and consequently so long as it is impossible to him that he should do it. The greatest pride, or the greatest despondency, is the greatest ignorance of oneself. Be not astonished at new ideas, for it is well known to you that a thing does not therefore cease to be true because it is not accepted by many. Sin cannot be conceived in a natural state, but only in a civil state, where it is decreed by common consent what is good or bad. If men were born free, they would, so long as they remained free, form no conception of good and evil. For peace is not mere absence of war, but is a virtue that springs from a state of mind, a disposition for benevolence, confidence, justice. Nothing in the universe is contingent, but all things are conditioned to exist and operate in a particular manner by the necessity of the divine nature. Men govern nothing with more difficulty than their tongues, and can moderate their desires more than their words. All happiness or unhappiness solely depends upon the quality of the object to which we are attached by love. I would warn you that I do not attribute to nature either beauty or deformity, order or confusion. Only in relation to our imagination can things be called beautiful or ugly, well-ordered or confused. I have made a ceaseless effort not to ridicule, not to bewail, not to scorn human actions, but to understand them. How would it be possible if salvation were ready to our hand, and could without great labor be found, that it should be by almost all men neglected? But all things excellent are as difficult as they are rare. Reason cannot defeat emotion, an emotion can only be displaced or overcome by a stronger emotion. Indeed, just as light makes manifest both itself and darkness, so truth is the standard both of itself and falsity. Men believe themselves to be free, simply because they are conscious of their actions, and unconscious of the causes whereby those actions are determined. One and the same thing can at the same time be good, bad, and indifferent. Example, music is good to the melancholy, bad to those who mourn, and neither good nor bad to the deaf. To give aid to every poor man is far beyond the reach and power of every man. Care of the poor is incumbent on society as a whole. Emotional distress and unhappiness have their origin mostly in excessive love toward a thing subject to considerable instability. People are quite incapable of distracting their minds from thinking of any other goods besides riches, honor, and sensual pleasure. I do not presume that I have found the best philosophy, I know that I understand the true philosophy. Things are not more or less perfect, according as they delight or offend human senses, or according as they are serviceable or repugnant to mankind. If we conceive that anyone loves, desires, or hates anything which we ourselves love, desire, or hate, we shall thereupon regard the thing in question with more steadfast love, etc. From what has been said we can clearly understand the nature of love and hate. Love is nothing else but pleasure accompanied by the idea of an external cause. Hate is nothing else but pain accompanied by the idea of an external cause. We further see that he who loves necessarily endeavors to have, and to keep present to him, the object of his love, while he who hates endeavors to remove and destroy the object of his hatred. Everyone endeavors as much as possible to make others love what he loves, and to hate what he hates. This effort to make everyone approve what we love or hate is in truth ambition, and so we see that each person by nature desires that other persons should live according to his way of thinking. In the mind there is no absolute, or free, will, but the mind is determined to will this or that by a cause which is also determined by another, and this again by another, and so to infinity. I make this chief distinction between religion and superstition, that the latter is founded on ignorance, the former on knowledge. It may easily come to pass that a vain man may become proud and imagine himself pleasing to all when he is in reality a universal nuisance. Sin cannot be conceived in a natural state, but only in a civil state, where it is decreed by common consent what is good or bad. An entire people will never transfer its rights to a few people or to one person if they can reach agreement among themselves. A society will be more secure, stable and less exposed to fortune, which is founded and governed mainly by people of wisdom and vigilance. The ultimate aim of government is not to rule, or restrain by fear, nor to exact obedience, but to free every man from fear that he may live in all possible security. In fact, the true aim of government is liberty. Emotional distress and unhappiness have their origin mostly in excessive love toward a thing subject to considerable instability. Everywhere truth becomes a casualty through hostility or servility when despotic power is in the hands of one or few. God is the efficient cause not only of the existence of things, but also of their essence. Core individual things are nothing but modifications of the attributes of God, or modes by which the attributes of God are expressed in a fixed and definite manner. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe.